going. And that's where the crisis came up in 1991. And the students of economics, those who are here, you must read one book if you want to really understand the reforms. The title of the book itself is called Understanding Reforms by Suresh Tendulkar, and that gives you very nice explanation why 1991, right? We need to understand why there is 1991 has become an important important period in the Indian economy, and I think 1991 becomes one of the historical year when you talk about India at 75. Okay, so the post 1991 is, again, as Dr. Sahu pointed out, LPG, like liberalization, privatization, and globalization, and we were well suited for that particular reforms. And as I say, rest is history. Now we have achieved one of the highest GDP growth rates in the last 75 years. We have seen a double digit. In fact, 1 year we have seen a double digit GDP growth in 2006 or 7, and in a sense, we could achieve the GDP growth that the whole country was aspiring. We have become one of the fastest growing large economy. Even today, even during the COVID. So, if you want to know which country is actually growing fast, it is the Indian economy. Okay, and even today we are talking about 7% growth when the global economy is actually getting into recession. The Indian economy is expected to grow at 7%, and many people think that 7% is not enough. We need to grow much more faster than that. And in terms of poverty and unemployment, as I already told you, India and China used to be the burden for the whole global economy, in terms of almost having somewhere close to 60% of the poor staying in the two countries, that is China and India, right? And China, we know what happened there. China has been growing at 10% per annum for the past 35 years or 40 years, and they could bring down the poverty numbers very, very drastically. And similar thing happened in Indian economy also. In fact, in 1970s, the poverty rate was somewhere close to 42%, okay, or a little more than 42%. Now we have come to a situation, the last survey that happened in 2011-12, it says that India's poverty was somewhere close to 21%, but 17-18 poverty numbers we are not seeing. But my own conclusion is that given the kind of GDP growth that we have seen in post 2011-12, the poverty numbers should have come down significantly. As I already referred to you, the IMF study, which said that India's poverty was only 3% in 2018-19. Okay, so it may be a controversial number, but at least we know the direction. The direction would be definitely from 21% to less than 15% or somewhere close to 10%. So in a sense, we have made a lot of improvements in both GDP growth or in terms of poverty, in terms of regional disparities. We have seen so much of change from the 1970s, where the regional disparities used to be very huge. And right now, we see that there is a substantial reduction in the regional disparity also, although the intrastate disparity is still there. But I think in terms of interstate disparities, actually, we have seen a substantial reduction. And as a students of economics, I also want all of you, I don't know if there's any paper that's going to be presented. As a students of economics, when you talk about India at 75, you also need to think about how some of the institutions have actually helped us. One of the institutions, in my view, that has made a significant contribution to Indian economy is the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, not many people know about it, right? And if at all of us are sleeping cool at our houses, is because you have, security, not only for physical security, but you also have a financial security, right? When you have a lot of money at home, you will not get sleep, right? If you have a hard cash at home, if you have gold at home, you will not get sleep, right? You need to have a good financial sector. You need to have a good banking sector. You need to have a good regulator. So you are sleeping cool because you have a very strong financial regulator in the form of Reserve Bank of India. We are sleeping coolly because we have a very strong army who is protecting us in the boundary, right? So you, like Indian Army, you have financial sector regulator, which is Reserve Bank of India. And there is a saying, every day there is an attack on Indian economy. How many of you know that? None of you know that there is an attack on Indian economy every day. There is an attack on India on the border every day. We will not know it because there is somebody protecting us. So the Indian economy is also protected everyday basis by one institution, which is Reserve Bank of India. That they don't make any noise, right? They don't make any statements. They will only write publication. I mean, they do bring some of the best publications. Now that I'm talking from Central University of Haryana, I request the department to encourage students to visit RBI offices. In fact, they have a nice scheme where the regional office, they invite a lot of students. You can go there and see what are the things that they do. The reason I'm trying to say, even during the 2007 global financial crisis, I'm talking about only economics, not politics. Even during 2007 global financial crisis, Indian economy was least affected. Okay. Even in COVID-19, again, how many of you seen the finance minister and how many of you seen the RBI governor? I know you don't see news only. You don't read newspaper, right? The youngsters don't read any newspaper. They don't watch any news also. So I cannot ask who is RBI governor? Areva. All of you know, is it? Okay. So when the COVID-19 hit us, the first official who came to national media spoke about the some of the policy interventions is RBI governor. You would have not seen the finance ministry officials, right? So the over a period of last 2 years, one active institution that we have is RBI, and RBI has been intervening in a big way. That Atmanirbhar Bharat package, right? Atmanirbhar Bharat package. How many of you know that Atmanirbhar Bharat package? All of you know? There is something called Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? What is that? Huh? COVID package. Stimulus package. So what is the stimulus?
Pushing the demand side.
Yeah.
By the public sector to ensure that the economy remains approved, and it was done by a lot of countries.
So the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, the fiscal stimulus package was 30 lakh crore. Okay. 30 lakh crore is the stimulus package. Out of that, 22 lakh crore is supported by the Reserve Bank of India. Okay. So the point I'm trying to say that the role of Reserve Bank of India, when we talk about India and 75, I think it needs to be understood, it needs to be documented, and I urge all the students to really look at that particular institution, which is day in and day out protecting us very, very silently. No noise. Nobody comes to CNBC TV 18. Nobody comes to Republic TV. Nobody comes to your Times of India. What are the Times now channels? So they are working very, silently, and I think we are blessed to have that kind of institution growing with times. And I mean, you would have seen that from 1991, a lot of reforms happened in the Reserve Bank of India also. And I think one of the reasons why we're able to manage both growth and development is actually due to the Reserve Bank of India, except the demonetization. I mean, of course, the demonetization was certainly, in my opinion, not really has come from Reserve Bank of India, but it has come from somewhere else. So again, as students of economics, economics, you should understand the demonetization, was it really good for Indian economy in the short term, medium term, long term? In the short term, you may think that it was bad, but in the medium term and the long term, the jury is still not out, in the sense we need to look at whether the demonetization would have really helped the Indian economy going forward. But we need to do analysis on this kind of episodes purely as an economist. Okay, don't bother about which political party leading the country and all those things. So we have to do that as a pure economist. By the way, I have written in favor of demonetization in the short term. Okay, but in the medium term, long term, maybe you have to wait for my publication on that. And in terms of we are talking about the nationalization of banks in 1970s. Now we are talking about privatization of the banks, right? How many of you know that the public sector banks, we had 30 public sector banks a couple of years ago, only 18, right? Now in the budget, last budget, the proposal is to bring down the 18 number to 2 or 3 banks, 2 or 3 public sector banks. Now, the reason why I'm trying to tell you all these things, we have come a long way, where we started nationalization of the private sector banks. Now we are talking about privatization of the public sector banks, right? So it is a kind of the whole cycle we have seen in the last 75 years. And again, we need to assess whether is that really important for a country to become as the 3rd or 2nd largest economy in the world. 1 or 2 things I will say, and then I'll stop. One important indicator that as students of economics, all of you should look at is the productivity, right? Why Indian economy has grown at 7%, 8% on average from 3 or 4%. It is actually the productivity. Again, students of economics should understand what is this concept of productivity, and how do we estimate it, and what is the level of productivity over a period of time. I just wanted to give one small good news, and then I will stop that topic. We have RBI again. RBI, is doing a study, long study on productivity growth in Indian economy, which is called a CLEMS project, KLEMS. And students of economics, I'm sure you know, there's something called production function, right? There's a production function, which is a function of output, is a function of inputs, right? You have capital and labor as an input, but RBI is trying to take up not only the capital and labor, but they also include energy, material, and services. So it's called CLEMS project that determines what is productivity. And the latest study that RBI, latest estimates by RBI is suggesting that India's productivity growth, I'm not talking about the levels, India's productivity growth is higher than the productivity growth in China. So that shows that from now onwards, Indian economy should be growing at much faster rate than the Chinese economy. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that we will be reducing the gap between China and India within a period of next 25 years. When that Amrit Kal period comes, and we should be in a position to really narrow the gap between Indian economy and Chinese economy, for a simple reason that our productivity growth is higher than Chinese growth. And in fact, we also have a lot of faith on your generation. Okay, so that by 2047, I'm sure you will be somewhere close to 40 or 45, and I'm sure you will be part of that whole process where Indian economy gets into a developed country. And one last point, how much time I have? No, they will not listen to me. I can keep talking. No, there is a nice saying: if you have a book, you can complete the reading of that book. If there is no book, there is no limit. But my request to the department also, there should be some discussion on conferences, we focus half a day on databases and statistics. And and statistics is a public good. I mean, this is something that I want to tell all the students should really understand how these economic databases have been developing. By my concern is that I've been, as I said, I've been tracking the Indian statistics for almost 2.5 decades. One thing which I felt in this last 75 years, which has deteriorated in the Indian context, is the quality of statistics. In fact, I have been telling everywhere. I mean, I don't mind telling to government also. I have written also. One thing we have neglected in the last 75 years is the statistics. Okay. How many of you know there are so much of controversy about GDP growth and all those things? Do you know something? GDP controversy. What is the controversy? Sorry, in keynote address there will be no question and answer, but I'm asking. Do we have poverty numbers? No? No. You have estimates? There's something called rough and final estimate. See, when we say poverty, it's only national sample survey, right? Government data. Which is the last data that is available? Before you are born. When is the last population data that we have? So the most important, this crucial statistics numbers, not only for economics, for anything, even for elections, is population, right? What is the last number that we have for this country? No, for which year you have? 2011 years back, right? That is the last number that we have. Poverty numbers, again, 11-12 we have. Unemployment numbers, we have only for 11-12. So there is a secular deterioration in the overall quality of statistics, not only official statistics, but also statistics as a profession. I see that there is a general deterioration. I think that's not really good for any country that is trying to aspire to become a developed nation. I mean, I don't want to get into the GDP controversy because you don't know, so I don't mind skipping that topic. The reason why I thought I'll raise, I was part of that whole controversy, so I thought you may be knowing. So good that you don't know, right? So I think statistics is something that should become important element for next 25 years. I think a good statistics will lead to good economics. So there is no distinction. In fact, in our profession, at least in economics, we don't differentiate between economics and econometrics. If you look at the old departments, there is something called Department of Econometrics separate, Department of Economics separate, right? Right now we don't have any distinction. I think both have economics and econometrics have actually become one. And finally, after so much of deliberations, statistics was brought as one of the goals in the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, one of the reasons why the Millennium Development Goals has failed in achieving in most of the countries is because of the statistics was not available. And you know, how did we know that Mahendragarh is the backward districts? Until Professor Aneja has done the study, nobody knew that this is the backward district, right? Somebody has to do some studies. In fact, especially when you talk about regional disparity, especially when you talk about inequality among the people or the regions, until unless you don't have statistics, there is no way you can have any public policy to really, you know, most of the times in the fiscal policy arena, I'll tell you one thing. You have something called Finance Commission, right? India is blessed with having this Finance Commission as part of the constitution, where the central government actually devolves resources to the state governments based on many parameters. One of them was income inequality. But from the states, if you want to distribute to the districts, again, you need to follow that kind of a pattern, right? Right now, there is no data about the districts. Now, in the absence of any data, you depend only on the population. So the larger the population, larger the resources, right? So I think that is actually leading to purpose of the public policy, reducing the inequality and all those things. I think we need to really focus more on improving the statistics if at all you want to achieve the sustainable development goals, and also achieve the regional reduce the regional disparity. So as I said, we have come a long way, and now onwards, if you want to really become the developed country by 2047, I think you need to grow at least 9 to 9.5%. It's a very simple arithmetic if you want to really understand. So if you want to really become a developed country, you need to grow at 9 to 9.5%, and that can happen only by improving the productivity. And for that, you need to have a lot of institutions in place, a lot of regulations in place. And my own view is that currently India is really well placed in achieving that 9 to 10%. We have become a global leader, right? How many of you know that today we are becoming presidents? We are taking the presidency of G20, right? Honorable Prime Minister is in Indonesia, where he's actually taking charge of the G20 for the next 1 year. And the theme of the G20, again, how many of you know what is the India's theme for the G20? Pardon me? I see. But he used a different slogan, right? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Right? Please read newspaper. So if at all you want to understand Indian economy 75 or post 25, please read newspaper. Then only your productivity will increase. So I think India is becoming a leader. The way we have shown the leadership during the COVID-19 is unprecedented, right? In fact, we have become, one of the biggest vaccine provider for the whole world, and it's a one of a century kind of a shock. Indian economy could really help the global economy to really recover. Right now, the global economy is actually in a recessionary phase, and we are talking about 7%, 8%, 9%. And I think for this, the kind of policies that have been adopted since 1991, I'm not going to say that policy is only from 2014, right? It is from 1991. We have seen a completely different policy architecture, and I think all of them actually really helping us in achieving the kind of aspiration that we all have. And as I said, I'm very, very optimistic that Indian economy would become developed countries, but ultimately all those things are in your hands, right? You will be seeing that Indian economy reaching the developed country by 2047. So we have done more or less well in the last 75 years, and I'm sure that we will also do extremely well in the next 25 years to reach the developed country kind of a status. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best for this delegation.
Yes, sir. Enlightening our knowledge. It's very true that India is going to be a leading economy very soon, because we have improved a lot as far as economic indicators are concerned. Thank you, sir. Thanks once again. As our Honorable Vice Chancellor has joined us through virtual mode, sir, I welcome you on behalf of Organizing Committee of the National Seminar Economy at 75.
Thank you very much.
Before I invite our Honorable VC, sir, I would like to give a brief introduction about our Honorable VC, sir.
Oh, it's not required. Yeah, that's enough.
Professor Yogendra Kumar, as a Vice Chancellor of the Central University of Haryana, Mahendragarh. Earlier, he has been Vice Chancellor of Guru Jambheshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar, for about 5 years and 9 months. He has served 2 terms as Vice Chancellor there. Prior to joining as Vice Chancellor, he has been serving as UGC Professor of Physics and Director of Abdul Kalam Computer Center at Punjab University, Chandigarh. He has been Vice Chancellor by taking additional charge of Deen Bandhu Choturam University of Science and Technology, Mothal, and Chaudhry Bansilal University, Bhiwani. Professor Tankeshwar has 35 years of experience, which include teaching, research, and educational administration. He has contributed more than 165 research papers in journals of international and national repute, with more than 1,400 citations. He is the first UGC professor in India in FRP. He has been member of various committees at state and national level. Like he has been chairman and as a member of NEC peer team from time to time. And he has been member of search committee for selection of vice chancellors. He has been awarded.
Thank you. It's enough. Yeah, I told you initially. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, now I invite you for your words of wisdom and for your blessings. I welcome you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I feel, because I could not be present here in the offline mode because we planned something for 15th, it extended up to the 16th, but we cannot leave in between, so I have to be present here at my another office. I could not be present here at with all of you. I apologize for the same, first of all, and at the second, I congratulate the Department of Economics for organizing such a wonderful seminar with the acknowledgement to the ICSSR, and I am also thankful to the great speakers that he has invited, especially our Professor N.R. Bhanumurthy ji, Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bangalore. I am really thankful to him that he could come. I was just listening to what my previous speaker was saying. It is really wonderful because if I look at, if we look at the country development, and the country development is there. Mainly in the economy, we always say it's the fastest growing economy, and as you said, that today we are in the G20, and other day we were discussing that we have the U20. U20 means universities 20. Can we have the 20 universities in the first 200 universities of the world, and can we have the first 20 universities of the world having their campuses in the university, let us in this period, whether these countries can contribute, So that is the way, we are looking at how the development is going to take place. So it's very, very important to be futuristic and to see how we progress. So the economy is one criteria, I will say, because we work on the I will say on the various aspects and various grounds, I will say, and its result is in the economy, and we have to see that how our economy grow. If the economy is growing, it makes the things sustainable. It makes public life more I will say the more comfortable. I will say that everybody has got something to reach to the most of the people, right? So that is the way, as you were saying, the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and it is obviously true that when we say such words, and it should also mean that it should be the last person of the country should also get something out of it. It is not that when we say economy is growing, that it is growing for a few people. It should not be like that. That is the way we should also see that, the distribution of the resources is also, done in such a way that, the poorest people is also feel that it is a fastest growing economy, so it should reach the poor people. So that is the one way I look at, you should look at the economy at the 75. We may have we are in these days, we are also saying that, many unicorn companies are becoming from its rate of becoming unicorn company from India has suddenly manifold, has increased manifold. But, it's as I said earlier, that we should also see that it reaches poor people, and it will reach, because when we have such big companies, we have the big companies where you can employ more and more people. When you employ more and more people, we can certainly see that it reaches to the poor people. So that is the one way of looking at the things. And it is also very important, that when we talk about the employment, and we also look at, the other front is that how our farmers can do the better, the agriculture sector can do the better. And we have to just understand, we have to contribute in it. It's not that we contribute only in terms of business. We can otherwise also contribute. We have to think that what is the good for the country, what is not good for the country, even if we look at what we are to eat, and what we are to buy. These are two important things. Even then we can be more healthy, and we can be also, the more prosperous, right? Because we have to really understand that, as we say, that everyone on the world has to be, we should have everything, and the whole of the world should be peaceful. And today, if you look at the newspaper, my previous speaker was saying, there is another thing that which has been accepted is our mantra of the peace. Our mantra of the peace has been accepted by the whole of the world, and it happens that we want the peace in the whole of the world, and we also want the prosperity for all. And if Indian people can get the prosperity to the extent, then I think we will be doing the good business we will become the leaders. We become the leaders, as we said. The leaders are not only for becoming, having the everything, every penny with them. The leadership comes with for example, the people have seen in the term of the COVID, when we developed the vaccine and we gave it to the others, right? That is, it's not that we have not given to our own people, we have given to all. Otherwise, it would have become, the vaccination would have just become the business of the rich countries, right? We could make our vaccination. So the concept of the business economy of vaccination had gone. That is because China had, India had. So that things have now, you can understand how it was important, how important it was to have the vaccination in the country, and that we could do it, and our scientists could do it. So that is the way, we should look at what contribution we can make to our country in terms of the economy development. As I said, everybody can contribute. If we really think that what we are to eat, we can eat our own local thing, we can buy our own product, maybe made in India, or maybe make in India, right? So both the things will contribute to the Indian economy. So I believe that it is it's not just the few scientists or economists are going to contribute, but it is the way that the economist has to tell us that how our economy can be better, how it can reach to the poor people, how everybody in the country can contribute towards this mission of, we have set up some targets. So these targets are known to people present here, and accordingly we have to really work, and economy Department of Economics can contribute in this way, in great way. So I'm really thankful to Economics Department and all speakers who are joining, all the participants who are joining. and the Department of the, Economics, those who are organizing, especially Professor Ranjan Aneja and Sahu and all other teams of the team members who are contributing to it. And I'm once again, thankful to Professor Bhanupriya ji. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words of knowledge and thank you for your blessings. Although you are preoccupied with very important assignments, but you always spare time for such programs. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I request Dr. Amandeep to give a brief introduction of one of the speakers of the day.
Good morning. I would like to invite our expert, Dr. Mahamaya Mohanty and Dr. Vinod Sen on the dais, please. I, Amandeep Verma, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, welcome you all to the plenary session of the seminar on economy at 75. We have with us the experts in their respective fields for the panel discussion. Our experts are Dr. Mahamaya Mohanty, Dr. Vinod Sen. Now I would like to give the brief introduction of our first expert, Dr. Mahamaya Mohanty. She is Assistant Professor in the area of Operations and Supply Chain Management at IIM Rohtak. She has done her PhD from IIT Delhi. She was awarded MHRD Fellowship for full-time doctoral program at IIT Delhi. She has 10 years of teaching and research experience. She has advertised in a variety of fields such as teaching, artificial intelligence, data analytics, operation research, logistic management system, multi-criteria decision making. She has certified by Consultancy Development Center and Autonomous Institution of DSIR, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India as a technical consultant. I request Madam to share her knowledge with us.
Very good afternoon, all of you. Namaskar. Thank you, Central University of Haryana, for giving me an opportunity to share some of my experiences and knowledge, which again encompasses around economy of India. So, again, I am not an economist, but I do think each of the activity, whatever is carried forward in day-to-day lives of our, is a step ahead for improving the economy. So coming from again a background of supply chain, I would say we start our day with supply chain, and also we end it with a supply chain. Maybe the food we take, the dresses we wear, it has a supply chain, starting from the suppliers to the customers, the end customers. And the chain is glued with economy. Why we were doing this? We are doing this for economy. And if we talk about the past 75 years, we are here again to celebrate the past 75 years where economy, now there is no more challenges in economy, but there are hidden challenges, there are hidden gaps. If we talk about the technology, maybe the economics or the statistics, maybe the human resource, maybe the marketing, maybe the supply chain, or maybe the finances. These are different departments or heads of the management which have to work in an interlinked manner. They need a coordination. They need a information sharing. Like Professor has mentioned, the keynote speaker professor has mentioned, there is again, we should understand the statistics. It is important. Economics to econometrics. Now, I would say per capita. So I would again define economy as the per capita income of our country, which is again $2,200. And again, the economy, if I talk about the downfall of economy or the hidden pitfalls of economy, I would confine it onto 4Ds. If we speak about this 4Ds, the first D would be the demographics. When we talk about demographic, the population age. And again, when we do not have a right figure of population, it's very difficult to understand which age. So if we again see it's an average of 40 age till what we can work around. The second D would be the delinking or there is a decline productivity. The third D is depths. We have lot of depths. We are into depths, but they are not seen. And maybe the fourth D is again deficiency of coordination or cooperation or lack of information sharing. Now again, I do also come from a background of technology. So innovations, the day-to-day innovations, India is doing very well in digital transformations. Like we have seen the payment gateways, maybe the sharing of information, the transparency, there is a clarity, the chatbots, the virtual reality, the artificial intelligence. If again I would talk about big data, the volume of data available to us. So that is again a hidden problem seed. Though the data is huge, we do not know where the right data is. So again, the number, the figure, the quantitative value of our rising economy is not clear to us. The unicorn startups, they have definitely catered to the growth of our economy. Along with this, digitalization has given us a transparent framework. The models, the different mathematical models have helped us to bridge the gap where we were in 1947 to 2022. And if we think ahead of this 25 years, how to again encompass most of the things and where we need to head or progress towards. So again, there on 2 points I will focus. One, if we see migration, if we talk about China, they have a system of migration. The people from one place, they leave and they go to some other places, maybe within China only. And in that, the cross culture, there is no issue of cross culture and all. But in India, if we see, the migration is not that great as compared to if we compare ourselves with China, because we are again maybe the Indian polity, or we depend on our state culture. We are more used to our state culture. This is one thing, that is the migration. And the second one is the women in working sector. If we see about China, in China it's around 65% of women are working, whereas in India only 21% of women are working. This also deficient the increasing economy. So again, there are various multifaceted things, various models we can look into to develop our scopes. So not only looking into the figures, the statistics will help us, but all the sectors of manufacturing, the technology, as we are again an agricultural country, looking into our food supply chains, they would definitely cater to an incremental growth of Indian economy. And with our strong and rich heritage and culture, definitely we will be after not maybe 25 years, but maybe after 5 to 10 years. And we are because we are also now a competitor in global or globalization. And nowadays we are moving from this key term global to international. So we have our own figure at an international level. So we have found a place for ourselves. So again, talking about sustainability, we are also moving ahead from green revolution to sustainability. Now there is again a difference between green and sustainable. When we talk about green, it encompasses only to environment and economy. When I used to ask to my student so everything now encompasses with sustainability. When I used to ask to my students what's the difference between green and sustainability, they say just sustainability is something which can sustain or which can stay for a long time. But it is not like that. Sustainability is something which focuses on triple bottom line. That is profit, people and planet, or we say economy, environment and social aspects or social life. Whereas green focuses only on environment and economy. So when we are moving to the social life, so human beings plays a major role. So when there are human beings, there is a need of supply chain, there is a need of some operations, there are finances, there are marketing, there is again economics, there are human resources. So each of this field, they have to work in an interlinked way to make a good progress of our nation. So that's all I have to speak. And please, not only if you are economic student, don't only focus yourself to economy, because all the transactions and all you are doing through this UPI payment gateways. We all are tech savvy also nowadays, isn't it? It was not before 10 years. So you should be very much well equipped in all the fields, not only economic as a subject or economics as a subject, but most of the subject should be known to you, which will definitely help you to understand the missing gaps and which we can bridge later. That's all I have to speak. Thank you all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you, ma'am, to share your knowledge with us. Now I would like to introduce our next expert of the session, Dr. Vinod Sen. Dr. Vinod Sen, please. Before that, let me introduce Dr. Vinod Sen. Dr. Sen has been working as an assistant professor in the Department of Economics, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh. He has more than 16 years of teaching and research experience. His major area of interest includes research methodology, labor economics and migration, and agriculture economics. Dr. Sen has been awarded PhD in economics from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He has published 6 books and 50 research papers in the various peer-reviewed and UGC QList journal. He has the credit of being a supervisor for 5 PhDs, 19 MPhils, and 30 PG dissertation. He has awarded the late Tapan Chaudhary Youth Economist Award by Indian Economic Association. Now I request Dr. Sen to share his knowledge with us.
Very good afternoon to all. Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, keynote of the session, Professor R.N. Bhanumurthy, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, School of Economics, University, Bangalore, Professor Rajan Aheja, Head Department Economics, Professor Mahamaya Mohanty, Dr. Ajit Kumar, convener of this workshop seminar, co-convener of the seminar, Dr. Rajan Prasad Meena, Dr. Amardeep Verma, Dr. Rasmi Thapar, and Dr. Suman. It is somehow difficult once we listen Professor Bhanumurthy, then we have to speak after that, because most of the important topic has been covered by Professor Bhanumurthy, sir. We all know that we are celebrating that Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 year of the independence. So that question is arises why we are celebrating it. What is the need of the celebration? Because the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is debatable because that nation was going through that pandemics, the GDP was coming down, we are facing the high rate of inflations, and we are celebrating something, but that has some meaning. If we are celebrating, it means we are expanding it. We know that Indian economy rarely faces that kind of the recession. If we can remind that in 2008, when there was a global recession, that Indian economy was not come into that. We were growing nearby 6.7%, and our economy was comfortably. Professor Murthy has said that the RBI that regulate our monetary body, because that global recession has been started from that US, and their banking system has been collapsed and entire world has come into that. But we were sustained because we are a nations of festival. We have different religion, different culture, different festivals. So throughout the year, the shopping, purchasing, income and expenditure, that flow is going on. So that's why that the reason we rarely come into the recession. Now we come to the GDP. Sir has already talked about at the time of the independence, our GDP was only 2.7 lakhs. That has come now nearby 150 lakh crores. So if we see the contributions of GDP from the agriculture sector, we know that still that agriculture is a very prominent sector of our economy. At the time of the independence, near about 52% of GDP is coming from our agriculture and allied activities. When we see that allied activity, we are talking about that agriculture, fisheries, minerals, all these things. Now its contribution has come down to 18 to 19%. Now second sector is going to contribute to the industries. In 1947, that industry was contributing near about 11%. Now that contribution from the secondary sector, industrial sector has gone up to the 26%. When we talk about the service sectors, now 54% is currently we are contributing from that to the GDP from the service sector. At the time of the independence, we were contributing around 34%. But still near about 19 or last financial year, we have contributed 20% from our agriculture sector. If we want to become a developed nation, then we have to decrease the contributions of the agriculture sector to the GDP, because we know that most of the developed nations, their contribution from the agriculture sector is from 4 to 5%. It means we are highly dependent on the not only the GDP contribution but also the employment. Per capita income also is very important indicators, but though that per capita expenditures is based on the average, but still it is an important indicator for the well-being. So at 1947, that 7,530 rupees was the per capita income. But I have a data of 2018-9 which says that the per capita income is the 92,500 only. Now another important topic is that demographic dividend. We always talking about the demographic dividend. We're talking about the population. We are also talking about the population explosion. At the time of the independence, we are having only 34 crore population. Now we have 140 crores. By July 2023, we are going to surpass the China. So it means we are going to become the number one in the population. So but populations, that demographic dividend, it means that we have the working age population, or maybe we can say the youth population from 19 to 29, 50 to 29 age. That age population require the employment. That age population requires some kind of the skill. They require the quality education. Then they also require some kind of incentives so that they can get a better employment opportunity. Another area which need to be talked about in this particular seminar is that self-reliant. Sir has pointedly said it. So on that August 2023, our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi, he talked about the self-reliant. We have to make our country self-reliant. We have to be vocal for local and local to global. But the term self-reliant was coined by our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, in 1907 in his book Hind Swaraj. he talk about the self-reliant village. So he has given we want to, our village should be self-reliant, then our states will be self-reliant, then our nation will become the self-reliant. So our unit, that small unit of the administration, through the Panchayati Raj administration, we have to make our villages self-reliant. Then food grain production, we can see that 28 millions we were producing in the 50s. Now our food grain production is nearby 305 million tons in 2021. Another important aspect is the literacy. We all know the literacy status. We know the quality of the education in our India. When we come to the literacy in 1950s, our literacy was only 18.53%. By 2011 census, we have the literacy 74%. But what about the GRE? And when we come to see a literate, a person who can read and write, he is a literate. If he can read his name, or he or she can write his or her name, then we consider him as a literate person. What about the higher education? If we can go by the data that our GRE, gross enrollment ratio in the higher education, is just 25%. Now, if we want to celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, then we have to make it to 100%. When we come to know the highest degree which being provided by the higher education institutions is the PhD. Do you know what the GRE from the PhD? It is only 0.5%. So that are the sectors we have to improve it. That Bhanu sir has pointedly said that our university is not standing when we talk about the top 100 university of the world. None of our universities come under the hundreds, but couple of universities coming under the below 200 university. Top 200 university over that JNU, Jamia, and Bangalore. These are the IIT, Delhi. They are coming that. Now, drinking water, another indicators that is for we have to see that in 1991 only 81.4% people are getting the fresh or tap drinking water. In 2011, that data is around 91.4%. So that unemployment is another macroeconomic problem which need to be discussed in detail. So that employment, we have to see that agriculture in 1950s that were providing the 72% people. Now still that agriculture is providing 49% employment. Industry is 11% and now it's 24%. Service sectors, that time providing 17%, now it's near about 30%. If we can go by the CMI data, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, current unemployment rate is 7.7%, which is much higher as the desirable rate of unemployment. And the conference which is going to be organized in Haryana, the Haryana had the highest employment rate in India. It is 30.2%. But the lowest unemployment is in Chhattisgarh, that is 0.1%. So that if we talk about the unemployment among us, means educated youth. So what you will be going to do after completing your UG, your PG or PhD? The educated youth unemployment is an alarming situation. It is more than 30%. Means if 100 people are going to pass out from this academic year, only 70% will get the employment. Rest 30% will be the unemployed. They might be unemployed, they might be desiring employment, or they are maybe looking for the employment. So we also know that our economy has divided into organized and unorganized sectors. Still that majority of people are getting the unemployment in the unorganized sector. Now new economy has come, that is the gig economy. Gig economy basically the freelance writers, people working on that hours basis or maybe on assignment basis. That new sector has emerging. So because that work culture has been changed and the new concept of work is coming up, that fourth revolution, ICT is also come up, then we have to also prepare our students, our scholars for that. Another area we have to look when we are improving our that economic development is the exchange rate. Every day in the newspaper we are listening that the exchange rate has been come down, that value of rupee has been deteriorated in terms of the dollar. So in 1947, that our exchange value was only 3.30 rupees. If we want to get $1, we have to spend only 3.3 rupees. Right now, we have to spend 82.34 rupees for getting the $1. It means whatever our exports, okay, that will be, we will be writing that our import will be become costlier. Then we have to talk about the education, then we have to talk about the new education policies. The new education policy is, that policy has come after the 34 years, that something has come, and that is talking about the, we have to get the education of multi languages are there, mother tongues is there, we want the skill development, we want the professional educations, all these things is there. Then we want to be a Vishwaguru, we want to achieve the self-reliant, everything is going to be by the new education policies. Now, recent some economic crisis we have to talk about. We have to talk about the 90s crisis, then that lead to the 1991 economic reform, then global economic recessions. And one term that Professor Bhanumurthy has talked about, that demonetization. The demonetization now, 8th of the November, the demonetization, we have completed the 6th year, and the 99.073% has, the money has come. Only 0.07% that money does not come from to the RBI. But that informal economy, the economy which is running totally on the basis of what? They require the hard cash money. They have suffered a lot. Some of the small scale or maybe home-based industry has been closed because of the lack of currency. So another important dimension we have witnessed that GST. GST, initially there was a lot of saying about the GST, but GST doing the fine. It is the continuously amendment is going on. In future, we will also see some kind of the amendment will be there. COVID-19, we all know that it has been affected the entire economy, whether it's education, whether infrastructure, whether tourism, whether it's hospitality. Most of the sector has been affected, but it has also opened up the new opportunity. HID index is another important thing which we want to know it. HID rank, if we can say that in 2020-21, we were ranked 132 out of 199 countries. So still that rank is very low. We have to work it. Inflation, that the terms we use every day, we feel every day. We also abuse government because of that high rate of inflations. And so at present, that current rate of inflation is 7.6%. And if we can go back to the last 75 years, so we can find out that last 38 years that our inflation was below 6%, and last 40 years it was about 6%. Another terms which has been discussed, and that is the poverty. Poverty is a very complex topic. Once we try to understand one concept, another concept has come. One committee is saying something, another committee is saying something. So that poverty, somebody is saying measure it calorie base, somebody is saying it measure on income base. Income may be monthly base. Income may be the expenditure on food. Maybe now new term has come, multidimensional poverty. But I won't go into the concept. So the data is saying that 1973-74, that poverty, if a person who is earning 49.63 rupees in the rural areas and 56.44 in urban area, in 47, they say 356 rupees for the rural area, 538 rupees for the urban area. In 2011-12, they are saying 816 rupees per month for rural areas and 1,000 rupees for the urban area. But in the multidimensional poverty, if children is not attending the school, they are not getting the drinking water, there is no sanitations, the children is out of schools. So there are the 6 indicators they have identified for the multidimensional poverty. So in terms of the poverty, as per the NITI Aayog in 2021 come up with the data, they are saying that 20.7% is the poverty in India, highest poverty in Bihar, followed by Jharkhand. Income inequalities, we can believe by Professor P. Sainath. He said that 1% of the population is having the 77% of the wealth, and 10% of the population having the 90% of wealth. Even we have 177 billionaires. Out of 177, 40 billionaires has been added during the COVID-19. So it means that billionaires have been, that richer has become richer during that crisis, and poorer has become the poorer, and the gap between the have and have not has been widened up. There are some basic issues which need to be discussed. That Indian economy is the sustainable development we have to use, because now we are at the 75. Now we will be celebrating after 25 the 100 years. So, after the 25 years, what will be going to left for the future generations? They will going to be enjoy. So we need a sustainable development. We have to use our resources in this way so that our future generation can enjoy. We have to see that populations and environment, because that for everything we are just blaming on the populations, because road congestions है, population problem है, electricity cutting हो रहा है, populations है, environment है, populations है. Is there our policy are not responsible, or our policy maker they are not responsible? Because population is not increasing. Now we are also going to the third phase of the population. Now gradually population is also going to be decline. Sex ratio is also going to be increased in the next, whatever the result is coming. So we have to protect our environment with the policy. We should not blame the population. Then unemployment is another area, especially that educated youth, because educated youth, once we educated, we don't want to work in our traditional occupation, or maybe we don't want to work in the agriculture, or we don't want to set our home business or parental business, because once we have graduated, we have to want either government job or multinational job. So there the unemployment is alarming. Maybe that last 50 years, whatever the unemployment we are facing, it is the highest. That employment, there are the two reasons. There's the lack of demand, especially because nowadays, because of the COVID, we don't want to spend. Now we want to save more, because we are afraid of in future some kind of the calamities, natural or man-made has come. How we will survive? Now another point is that number of jobs that has been declining, because maybe we can say the privatization, because maybe that lack of investment. The same way, 2 million people have been increasing every year to the workforce. So more people are joining the workforce, but at the same time, the number of jobs has been declined. The regional disparity is there. Haryana is being considered as a developed states, Punjab, Delhi, Maharashtra. Then another side are the Bimaru state. We have to plan in this way that every state move. Poor educational standards. That's another area. If we want to see our economy move smooth, so we have to improve our standard. Poor infrastructure. So the road, electricity, everything we have to improve. Then high level of the public debt. That's another concerns. So at the 214, that public debt was around 84 lakh crore. Now it has been increased to 106 crore. So that we have to look and we have to plan accordingly. Large budget deficit is also there, and low agricultural productivity is there, and technological backwardness is responsible for the low agricultural productivity. So how, when we are going to celebrating maybe the golden jubilee, okay, 100 years of the independence, before that what we have to do it, we have to improve the standard of living. The standard of living for all the people, we have to elevate the poverty completely. We should also make higher educations productive that can generate the employment, and the unemployment rate should become to the 2 to 3% only. Self-reliance is another area. We have to be self-reliant, whatever we have to look out for the import substitute, and we have to give the free and compulsory educations. We have to also give the free health facility to all. We have to also some way look into the universal basic income concept, those who are unemployed, they have to be given the universal basic income. Because nowadays that whatever the allowance has been given, Uttar Pradesh is giving something, Maharashtra is giving something, Haryana is giving something. So there is no uniformity, and that is not also sufficient. For that old age pension, we are giving the 1,000 rupees. For that Vidhva pension, we are giving only 500 rupees. Is this sufficient? We have to think about it. Labor policy should be also modified because of that new labor law. That policy has make toward pro of that capitalist. So labor is somehow sent the margin. Now it is easy to exploit the labor. It is easy to hire and fire the labor. There are no social securities. There is no PF facility also there. So we need to frame the policy that is favorable for the labor. We have to control the inflation and public debt and exchange rate. Skill development also there, and all these things we have to see. Then we can think over it when we will be celebrating the 100 years of the independence. I don't know what will be the government call. Amrit Kal we have said. I don't know what will be that call. So, but before that, we have to be make our nation as a developed nation. With this word, I will thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for such a informative and interesting session. Now I request Dr. Sahu to felicitate Dr. Vinod Sen with a short. I request Dr. Rashmi to felicitate Madam Dr. Mahamaya Mohanty. Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. Therefore, to express our gratitude towards all the dignitaries who have enlightened us with their precious thoughts and wisdom, I would request Dr. Rashmi, co-convener of the seminar, for proposing a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The entire session has been so enlightening, and I wish we could continue it for the whole day, but every beginning has to come an end. So now we also have reached to the end of this beautiful session, and I, Dr. Rashmi Tawar, co-convener of the seminar, take the opportunity to put our words into put our gratitude into words on the behalf of the Department of Economics. Today. It's really a day of learning. So at that outset, we all are very much thankful to you, all of you, and we are very much thankful to our keynote speaker, Professor N.R. Bhanumurthy sir, Vice Chancellor, Bates University, for enlightening us with his knowledge on the given theme. I must say, after listening to you, sir, our interest in the key areas of economics has increased more. So thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. We must mention our deep sense of gratitude for our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Tankeshwar Kumarji. The vision of the head of the institution is the driving force
who manage, who coordinate, guide, and supervise these activities. And we are fortunate that we also have a person in form of our worthy Vice Chancellor, sir, who always motivates us and encourages us to do better. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. We are also very much thankful for our guest of honor, Professor Sunita Srivastava for accepting our invitation and taking time out of our busy schedules. Thank you, ma'am. In addition to this, now we extend our deep thanks to our special guest for plenary session, Dr. Mahamaya Mohanty Madam and Dr. Vinod Singh for their on knowledge enriching words. For your thoughts will definitely set a platform for our presenters, sir and ma'am. So thank you so much for accepting our invitation again. We are also thankful to our Dean in absentia, Dr. Professor Anand Sharma, for supporting such programs. Now we would like to thank Professor Ranjan Aneja, Director of the seminar and Head of the department, for always being there. Thank you, sir. We are happy to have you in department, and thanks for always for supporting all these activities. Thank you, sir. Now we would like to thank our finance officer and our registrar, sir, for their support. And now we extend our sense of appreciation towards all of our participants who have come from the different places all over the India for presenting their work. Thank you so much, all of you, for motivating us to organize more such programs. Thank you all. We are also thankful to our dean, all HODs and TICs, and all our other colleagues for their valuable time to attend the seminar. Now, I would like to thank our organizing committee, with particularly mention of Dr. Ajit Kumar Sahu, convener of the seminar, for his valuable support. The seminar has been the brainchild of Dr. Ajit Kumar Sahu, who has taken great pain to make this seminar a reality. Thank you, sir, for giving this platform to all of us, where we can exchange the ideas on economy at 75. Beside the other members of the organizing committee, I would like to thank Dr. Amandeep Verma, sir, Dr. Rajendra Meena, Dr. Suman, Dr. Ritu, Dr. Abhiranjan for their significant contribution. We are also thankful to all our researchers or research scholars, Mr. Deepak, Mr. Sandeep, Ms. Manisha, Mr. Akhilesh, and other students of the department, including the photography team of the students, the logistic team of the students, the decorating team of the students, for their continuous support in making the program successful. We are also thankful to the Department of Hotel and Tourism Management for their help in organizing this event. We also extend our thanks to our IT department for their technical support, and cleaning department for making this all these required arrangements. And last note, but not the least, we are also thankful to all our members of Central University of Haryana who have contributed directly or indirectly in making this seminar a success. So thank you, one and all. Thank you very much.
So I invite you all for the lunch, right? So nobody will move without having the lunch. So please join us with the lunch. Lunch is available in the courtyard of this building. So everybody is welcome for the lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Sahu sir and Rashmi ma'am. I request everyone to raise for the national anthem.
one more announcement. Those who are here to present their technical paper presentation, the technical presentation will happen in academic block 3, room number 214 and 215 and 212. 212, 214 और 217 में जो पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन है वो एकेडमिक ब्लॉक 3 यहाँ पर होगा, लंच के बाद होगा, 2 बजे शुरू होगा। ठीक है जी। और हाँ, और वैलिडेटरी सेशन 4 बजे इसी हॉल पे है। वैलिडेटरी सेशन अगर सर्टिफिकेट यहीं पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होंगे, 4 बजे वैलिडेटरी सेशन इसी जगह पे होगा जहां से आपको सर्टिफिकेट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होंगे। थैंक यू।